There we go.
Sorry. We're a little rusty again, starting over.
Turn that up.
But welcome, guys.
That drop is really good.
It's nice, right?
It's so good. All right.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to our Some Young Guys. I'm Carlos.
I'm Lee Mack.
And we're happy to be here with you guys again.
Absolutely. Trying to solve the world's problems in a podcast. Mostly men's problems. Sorry, ladies.
Yeah.
I don't understand your problems that well. I mean, I understand them better than the average person, but I don't need to get into that. Yeah. Average meaning average male.
You know what? Every time you say that, it reminds me of like, what does this mean, ladies? And then it's like, it shows a picture of a guy going like this to like a cotton thing, and then there's like girls saying like, what does that mean? When you like scratch your balls.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Guy topic only, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
No, but absolutely. It's so funny. Like when I had my channel, when I had the link up on my profile, my girl's mom would watch all our episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so
my mom's watched some of our episodes. Not all of them, but some of them.
Mrs. Lee Mack, I'm sorry.
Why does Adam call my mom Mrs. Lee Mack too? Okay, it's not her name, but okay.
I just find it funny though. Like it's just like you don't realize when you're like, damn, these people are actually watching what we're saying, and it's like,
yeah.
And then they look at my face, and then it's like,
yeah, those words came out of my face. Again, sorry, Mom, for cursing in the last one. You told me not to, and I did.
Yeah, I'm sorry, ma'am. Terrible son. No, it's just like sometimes I'm like, okay, maybe I should like watch a little bit more what I say. We get a little carried away sometimes. We get like too into the topic or like having too much fun with other people.
Yeah.
We kind of say things we're not supposed to. Well,
no regrets, dog.
Yeah.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Not even a single letter. So what we should be talking about is a little bit of what we were talking about before we started recording. It's crazy. We always end up talking about really good topics before we turn the camera and the podcast deck on. Mm-hmm. So, what we were talking about before was what our dream jobs would be. And mine personally, of course, everyone has a similar idea of what they want to do with their lives. Like, it's not that surprising that my dream job isn't necessarily a job in itself. It's essentially this. If I could do this and all of the video content that I plan to do in the future for this channel, like I'm doing my dream job technically, I'm just not getting paid for it yet.
Yeah, we're working towards that.
We're working on that. And there's all kinds of video content. We'd like to start making skits. We'd like to start making like both comedy and like actual storytelling skits.
Oh yeah.
Doing interviews with really good people that have accomplished things or are working on various projects that are interesting. Mm-hmm. Doing content surrounding cars and guns and, cigars and whiskey and whatever takes our fancy essentially, or whatever other interesting people are doing. Maybe we'll do some fishing. Who knows? Maybe because it's kind of just about exposing more young men to different hobbies and things that are a bit more productive than video games, perhaps. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a gaming channel too, because we like video games. I used to be a huge gamer. Oh yeah, same.
Grew up. That's what I grew up with. Mm-hmm. As a kid, especially around our age. There'd be times where our parents would. Like, I know my parents were working like consistently, like day and night. So that's basically all I had at the time. I wish it would have been a little bit different. I wish if I would have known now now back then, it would have been a different outcome. But I can only use what I got. But that's all right. I don't know where I was going with this, but basically, he was saying that he would want to get paid for working on cars, especially on his car. His car's freaking badass. The one he has right now.
It's pretty cool.
A little jealous because it's like a right-hand drive. I think that's fucking awesome.
For those that know, it's a Toyota Mark II JZX90 Grand Touring 4. It's all-wheel drive, automatic transmission, and right-hand drive, obviously, because they didn't make them in the States. Imported it last year in July. I think it was, July, and didn't get it registered until like February. because it was just a process. But regardless, it's registered. It's got license plates now. I got some wheels. I got it tinted, lowered a little bit in the rear. I'm running into some issues with the front suspension because basically, again, for those that know, some of you guys, this might go over your heads, but if it doesn't, great. But basically, the front suspension, because it's all-wheel drive, has a different setup. So there are forks that go around the axles because it's all-wheel drive. There's a front drive shaft, or CV axles, and the suspension, the way it mounts, there's a fork that goes around the axle onto the knuckle, which is what holds the wheel. The knuckle holds the wheel. The suspension is connected to the knuckle, and then you have suspension. With the all-wheel drive model, it's a fork and a sleeve that goes around the bottom of the coilover, whereas the rear-wheel drive model, which is what my suspension is set up for, is not that. It's just a standard eyelet that goes into the knuckle. So I need to make some designs of my own, and I just haven't had the time yet. And it drives much better than it did before I put the rear suspension on. So I'm going to just rock with only rear suspension for now. And it's slightly lower in the rear, not so much that it's like ridiculous looking.
Just tell them what happened on the freeway.
Oh, yeah, that was bad. Basically, so this is actually the rear control arms. There's 3 arms that set essentially the angle of the wheels in the rear. So your wheels are either facing in, facing out, come forward or back, like relative to the body of the car. And one of the control arms just completely snapped because it was old and rusty and all of that, because in Japan, it's an island, so there's a lot of salt water, and that makes things rust a lot more. And it's a 1995. So basically everything under there was rusty. It was super bouncy too. Like you'd hit a bump and it would bounce for half a mile. And yeah, no, it was bad. That's not much of an exaggeration.
Get that through a little motion. No.
Yeah, exactly. But essentially, yeah, so there was that, and one of the control arms just blew out on the freeway, and that sucked. Ended up having to take it home and fabricate a new control arm, essentially. And then that worked for a moment, and then it took probably a month and a half almost to get the control arms that I ordered on eBay from this company. I won't name the company name, but anyway, it's a company that sells their products on eBay. And when I got them, they were in great condition. They solved the problem. They were great. It just took a lot longer than I would have liked for them to get me the suspension components. But anyway, just doing the rear control arms, it solved the bouncy problem because it was essentially just the bushings on the old suspension. Nice. Yeah.
I was actually thinking about, like, I saw you, like, getting all this stuff for your car, and I'm like, what if I kind of, like, JDM out my car, put, like, a little...
I mean, you could do that.
Like, lower it. And then my lady's like, you're not doing that. And I was like, okay.
I wouldn't recommend it. Lowering a car really messes with the suspension geometry. You have a much worse ride quality. It's not as smooth.
Yeah. I remember having a buddy. He had, like, a Scion TC. He, like, slammed that thing, and then you feel
everything. You feel everything. I'm keeping mine pretty much stock ride height. I'm going to do a VIP build eventually. So I'll have bag suspension, completely done up interior, basically, because it's a cloth interior right now. And so I'm probably going to do the whole diamond stitch leather. I'll definitely be not rebuilding the engine bay, but doing some more aesthetic things with the engine bay, because it is a 1JZ. For those that don't know, it's slightly smaller than a 2JZ, which is in the Toyota Supra, and that's like a dream car for most people. What is this? That is probably copyrighted. You got to stop that, dog.
I had to play the Pimp My Ride theme song. I'm sorry. That's like, you started naming all these things and, like, stitching, like, diamond stitch, like, leather interior and all that stuff.
It's just a stitch pattern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just a stitch pattern.
But
on, like, leather seats, you have like pinstripes or you have diamond stitch.
Oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm
it's
sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
I just imagine like like D-Mac coming in next to me. He's like, so we know you slammed your car, so
No.
we hooked you up with.
Bro, Pimp My Ride was the shit until I realized that everything they did was just absolutely terrible. Like, it was all aesthetic parts and, like, nothing that actually made the car perform better. It was all just aesthetics. It was the most ridiculous show for poor people that wanted cool cars. That's basically what it was. That's pretty much what it was. I mean, Exhibit made a lot of money on that show, so
Exhibit was
good
so
for
funny
him.
on that thing.
He was really fun. I love that show. I'm not like talking that much smack about it, but realizing now what they were doing to those cars, I feel sorry for the cars.
We heard that you tried to kill yourself, so we put some.
Don't even.
I'm sorry. Or it's like, we heard you were a cook, so we put a grill in your trunk.
Yeah, basically.
No, they got that ridiculous at some point where it's like, we heard you love dogs, so we put like a bunch of training treats for your dog. Bullshit. I was like, dude. But some of those things were pretty badass though. I liked them.
Yeah.
Like the vans, they really pimped those things out.
Yeah, absolutely. When they just put in a bunch of TVs and speakers and an Xbox or whatever in the car, that was cool. But at the same time, it's like nothing pointless. Performance related.
No.
And that's a relatively cheap thing to do. Like, that's not that expensive to just get an extra battery, run power to a TV, an Xbox, and speakers.
You think they had to pay for that?
Yeah, but it was a tax write-off. It was a business. I mean, like...
No, like the people. You think
no. I would imagine no.
Really?
Yeah, it was like you submit your car and what you're about, and then you win a raffle, essentially. Pretty sure. We were going to talk about education today.
We were, but we went on the spectrum here.
On the spectrum?
I'm sorry, I got to finish this now. This is Pimp My Ride, MTV's Pimp My Ride reality TV show. They got attention for cars. From between 2004 and 2007. Oh, it was pretty short. Fuck, there's a bunch of ads for this.
Pretty sure it was a raffle.
You think so?
Yes. I'm very, very sure. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that it was a raffle. Kind of like, what's that one? The home makeover video or show. HGTV, where they basically like...
Oh, the house one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where they tear down someone's house and then just build them a nice-ass house.
Oh, yeah. When
Extreme Home Makeover. That's what it was called.
And is that also free?
I'm fairly certain they were not charging these people to be on the show. Like, I'm pretty sure it was just you win a contest, a raffle, and then you get to be one of the families that... Because it was always like families that were in destitute circumstances. Mm-hmm. Like the kid was sick or their house was going to be foreclosed, and it was like their family's house through generations or whatever. It was always some hard circumstances that they were under, and then Extreme Home Makeover would come in and help them out, basically.
Right.
Usually. I'm fairly certain that both Pimp My Ride and Extreme Home Makeover were raffles. But Extreme Home Makeover had a much higher budget. I will tell you that.
Oh yeah,
much.
Come on, it's like
way higher budget.
Yeah,
millions
for sure.
of dollars.
So I'm reading a little bit right now, not so in depth, but like just a little bit. So they got in trouble most of the time for, like it says, there was an interview with HuffPost. This guy named Seth said that he was forced to play a fat guy that can't stop eating candy and put salt on his wounds. And cotton candy machine was on one of the modifications of his car. See what I mean? Like,
yo, Exhibit was just like, yo, fuck this guy. Screw this guy.
We're like, gonna. We heard you're struggling with weight, so we put a treadmill in your trunk. Oh
yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Wow.
No, it's like I know I'm fat, but they went the extra mile to make me look extra fat by telling the world that I kept candy all over my seats and floor just in case I got hungry.
Yo, Exhibit is wrong for that, my guy. That's terrible. That's so horrible.
That's hilarious. That's fucked up.
That's messed up.
That's so exactly what you're saying. New cosmetics, but same performance.
Yeah, I like growing up and understanding cars as well as I do now, which isn't like amazing, but it's certainly much better than it was when I was a kid. Yeah, that show was terrible, honestly.
That's fucking sad.
They didn't do anything good to any of those cars. It
No,
was
they
all
didn't.
aesthetics and cheap aesthetics too, because they were running a business. They were trying to make money and entertainment.
Pin My Ride did not fix any of my mechanical issues.
They didn't even fix the dude's car.
It's like the car's not even running.
Oh my God, they didn't fix my mechanical issues. That's terrible. Like, they gave me all these aesthetic modifications and didn't fix
It doesn't
anything.
even turn on. Oh my God.
Those dudes didn't know how to work on cars.
Oh, I bet they didn't.
No, they didn't. You don't even have to bet. They
No.
just didn't. I know they didn't. They were rappers. They were entertainers.
We're all prisoners. I'm just kidding.
That's racist.
No, it's not.
It might be.
Think
I
so?
don't know how many of them actually have a record.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Exhibit had a record.
No, I think he's a gamer now. You know that, right?
He's a gamer now?
Oh my God, he's like big on gaming now.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. A lot of people like Exhibit. There
I
was
like
this
Exhibit.
one.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Was it
I mean,
IGN? Is it IGN? Is it like
Inside Gaming News or something?
Yeah, he's like one of the hosts.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm surprised you didn't know that.
No, I didn't. Am I supposed to know everything about black people?
No. I didn't mean it that way. It's like because you said you were a gamer, so
I know. I'm kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time.
now I seem fucking racist. No thanks. Jesus Christ.
It's okay. I'll say something that's racist against Mexicans.
It's all right. We can take it.
Just to make it even. Like you take our jobs?
Someone has to do it.
Someone does.
No, I'm just playing. No, he was like this. I don't know if it was for IGN, but he was like a host for like some gaming events or something. But he was big. Like he's like an actual gamer. I forgot what it was.
Okay.
But all those empty. I know we're supposed to talk about like the education.
We are 20 minutes in, and we were going to talk about the education system. And so far, we've talked about dream jobs.
To be fair,
MTV
was kind of an educational system for most fucking teens.
That is
during the 2000s.
No wonder we're lost.
Yes.
No wonder
like fucking
minority communities are lost, because that was the majority of the MTV viewership is minorities. And if that's their education, it's not surprising.
Welcome MTV.
Yeah.
We made you. Because it was Pin My Ride. It was what else? The other show, the house one. MTV Cribs.
Oh my God.
That was just that. Watching those shows just made you realize how poor you were.
Pretty much.
This is my 30th TV in this fucking room. I got 3 TVs in my
honestly,
bathroom.
Better yet, it would not only show you that you were broke, not poor, but it would actually promote a poor mindset, because the way I see it is it would show off the wealth that they had after they had already been successful. Mm-hmm. And so it's all of these symbols of status, right? And so in these minority communities, whoever's watching it, mostly kids watching it, and some adults, they would emulate those people on the show and just spend their money stupidly on all of the things to make it look like they deserve to be on MTV Cribs, when they really weren't making the kind of money that would land them on that show. And they were spending the kind of money that would put them in debt just to look like they should be on that show. It's just spending to look good, keeping up with the Joneses, that type of stuff. And that is a huge problem.
Yeah, it was.
In minority communities and poor communities, just broke communities in general, is a lot of status spending. That's how I would describe it, is spending to appear like you have a higher status than you actually have. And it just perpetuates broke poorness.
Yeah,
it's a poor mindset.
Yeah, definitely. I remember I used to look up to like 50 Cent. I don't know
50
why.
Cent's actually pretty good businessman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy's like super successful. But like, I like back in like the 2000 eras, I thought like being like, you know, flashy, you know, like pimp looking, you know, that was like the idea, and that was like my goal. My mom asked me this one time, in front of one of my really successful aunts. She's like, "Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?" Bro, I was like in 5th grade. I was wearing Fat Farm shoes. Had like this
I remember Fat Farm.
Flat build, you know, like I think it was like a San Diego hat, and
Echo Unlimited.
oh my god, yeah, wearing a shirt like that, you know, I thought it was cool, bro. You know, because I would watch, you know, 50 Cent and all this and that. Would want to dress that way, and they asked me like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I'm like, "I want to be a rapper and a basketball player, bro. I'm 5'9". I am not gonna be a
short, little, stocky Mexican kid. I want to be a basketball player.
I wasn't even stocky, bro. I was husky. That's what you call a fat kid with a trophy, husky. That's what I was. And then my aunt looked at me like, "Damn, we're fucked." My mom was like, "Stop being stupid. You can't be a rapper." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then she basically just be like, "Yeah, you can't do that. You can't be a basketball player. Like, be realistic, Carlos." I was like,
I'm glad she gave you that wake up call early on.
I'm so glad.
We're 5? You said you were 5?
No, I was in 5th grade.
Oh, 5th grade.
I was like
That's
10.
where I got the 5.
But yeah, it was hella embarrassing. I was just like,
yeah.
I look back at it now. I'm like, I was such a fucking idiot.
I mean, it's good to learn those lessons early. The earlier, the better.
Yeah, thank God.
You got to get your dreams destroyed in the right way sometimes.
Well, yeah, and then like realistic dreams, like
yeah, exactly. Have realistic dreams.
I would have ended up like those kids on SoundCloud. Like I'm a what is SoundCloud rapper?
How many SoundCloud rappers are there?
You think I can rap with this voice? Probably not.
You could probably rap.
Think so?
Yeah, I think you could.
With this voice?
I don't think the voice is a problem. Have you heard most rappers nowadays? Plus, there's
like
auto-tune.
Suicide Boys.
Auto-tune. I mean, you could do whatever you want. I mean, AI can enhance your voice so it doesn't even sound like auto-tune.
I know. That's insane, the AI shit you sent me earlier.
Dude, AI is getting crazy. I sent him a video. It was this, basically someone photoshopped Joe Biden's face on, it was either Dylan Mulvaney or a flat-chested woman, and also photoshopped Joe Biden's voice over it, and it was eerie how accurate it sounded like Joe Biden. And the person that
it
was
looked
talking,
really accurate.
It was really, it was disturbing. And they were just talking about, like, it was a girl, like, talking like a girl, but Joe Biden's voice about, like, the night out that they were about to have or whatever, and they were going to go out with their friends. It was a stupid video, but it was just very, very creepy how it looked exactly like Joe Biden, sounded exactly like Joe Biden if he was talking with, like, a Valley Girl voice.
Do you think they're gonna synthetically like try to manipulate us in that way?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you know, let's say Joe Biden.
So what they're gonna do, actually, now this is coming up to elections. Maybe next week we'll talk about education, but this week we're talking about random BS and some useful BS. But basically, what I think is going to happen is in the next coming election, what they're going to be doing is having a lot of deep fakes that are just slightly off of either Trump or Biden or whatever the candidates are to make it sound like Trump is racist or to make Trump say certain things. And, you know, the mainstream media already is gung-ho against Trump, and they'll believe anything that makes Trump look bad, obviously, because we had the whole Russia collusion. There's this, the Durham report came out that basically exonerated Trump, that the FBI and the entire political establishment was out to get Trump and spent tons of money on phony allegations and investigations to try and get Trump not elected. And that's what they did. All kinds of stuff. The Durham report is actually it just confirms everything that conspiracy theorists were talking about, how Trump is actually not guilty of any of those things that he was accused of. And it turns out he's not. And yeah, crazy stuff. They're really out to get this dude that actually wants to make America a better place. I mean, no establishment politicians have done anything really useful for America in a very long time. There's a couple that seem to be doing some good things. Matt Gaetz is one of them. He seems like he's doing good stuff. DeSantis has been doing some pretty good stuff in Florida, preventing, this indoctrination of children into left-wing ideology, whether it's critical race theory or queer theory or all of these different things that are kind of destroying the country right now. Mm-hmm. And it's not just about, like, they call it the Don't Say Gay bill, but it's really just like, stop teaching our children about sex when that should be our job. Like sex of any kind.
Family.
Yeah. The family should be teaching the children about sex. The birds and the bees should be taught by the parents, not by the school. Mm-hmm. And, we can talk about the biological, maybe in a biology class, we can actually go into the, this is how a person is created with the sperm and the egg and all of that. But beyond that, I think sex and all of that topic should be taught by parents. Obviously, you need parents in the home to do that, but that's a different problem. But yeah, so politically, I think that, we're in for a wild ride in the near future. We're still at war with Ukraine. There's some crazy stuff that came out recently. There was a train that came from Wyoming and ended in California. Mm. And I think it was like 30 tons of, I think it was like ammonium nitrate, which is a fertilizer ingredient, but it's also an ingredient in explosives. So 30 tons of this ammonium nitrate, it might not actually be ammonium nitrate, but that's what I think I remember it being. It was just missing from this train. 30 tons.
That's a lot.
30 tons of a chemical that is meant for fertilizer, but also is an ingredient in explosives. Mm. Let me make sure that's... it is ammonium nitrate. It was 60 tons. No, 30 tons, because 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. Yeah, it was 30 tons. 60,000 pounds of explosive chemical lost in rail shipment, officials say.
This happened this past week?
Yep. Let's see.
In California?
So May 22nd, 2023 is when this article was written.
Today is 22nd.
Rail car carrying ammonium nitrate left a plant operated by explosive manufacturer Dyno Noble in Cheyenne, Wyoming on April 12th, according to an incident report filed May 10th by a representative of the company with the National Response Center. Yeah, so literally an explosives company was sending this chemical to be made in fertilizer, I think.
I got sent to Pimp My Ride Shop.
Yes. Exhibit was going to make some bomb-ass modifications for your car.
We heard that you were into world destruction, so we go ahead and put some C4 on the back of your truck.
Yeah, no kidding. And actually, so not only that, but let's see, U.S. officials.
Put some spinners on the fucking train rails.
Okay, so 1 day ago, according to the Washington Times, as well as Yahoo News and whatever, so the Senate issued at least 50 satellite phones as a security measure. 50 senators have accepted sat phones for emergency communications as part of growing efforts to beef up security for lawmakers in the wake of January 6th. That's what they're saying. But it's just kind of, you waited this long to give them sat phones? It's been 2 years. And they're just getting sat phones because of January 6th? That's what you want to say? Dude, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we're not quite aware of. That's pretty worrying. And all I'm going to say is get you some guns, get you some ammo, and hold your shit down.
Okay.
Stuff. Sorry, Mom.
Don't forget like food and stuff like that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like non-disposable, like canned foods and stuff like that, because that's for sure going to be more valuable.
Canned food, you can go to Costco, get 2 things of beans, 2 things of tuna, get a 50-pound or 2 50-pound bags of rice, get some water filtration, get yourself enough food to last a month at least. And if you can, get some chickens. If you can, get out of cities, because if you're in a city when stuff like that goes down, you're at risk of a lot of damage as your neighbors eventually go hungry because they didn't prepare, and they come knocking on your door to see what you have. So be very careful with yourself and your protection. Do not be afraid to use weapons if you have to, because when people get hungry, it's about 3 days before civilization, the civilization within you, being civilized, goes out the window because you're trying to survive.
Exactly.
Especially if your kids are hungry. If your neighbors have kids and they're hungry, like, I'm not saying you should murder your neighbors, but they're going to be more desperate. People with kids are going to be even more desperate. People, when people are starving, they get desperate and they do crazy things.
Just like the COVID era.
Exactly. And
people were killing themselves for over toilet paper, like toilet paper.
There was, oh my gosh. I really think that COVID was a test on people. It really was.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was like let's see what happens if we do this. And
it was testing the totalitarian state that they want to roll out in the near future. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of people failed that test. A lot of people succeeded the test. I've heard a couple of theories is like it was a test to see what the IQ level of certain people was and how many people actually have a decent IQ. Like, not gonna lie, I was questioning it from the beginning. Like, I knew that shit was really, really sus from the very beginning. And I still haven't gotten vaccinated. And
Same.
now we know that you shouldn't have gotten vaccinated because it was not a good. It was just not legit.
I'm surprised I was able to jump through many hoops and they.
Yeah, I am too. Working at the hospital now.
Not anymore. Just kidding. Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
Hospital workers don't look at this. No, but Like, I mean, you're able to sign off on it because all those nurses that didn't want to get the shot either. Mm-hmm. So that kind of helped.
Well, they were threatening to fire people.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of helped, and then they were desperate for nurses. So they're like, oh fuck, okay, let's not do that. So they were able to write like an exempt sign off where they didn't want to get the shot. It was up to them. Cool. They didn't give a shit as long as it kept working.
Yeah.
So even the flu shot, like you can either sign off or you can get it, and they actually open that option as well. I feel like a lot of people that get the shot, yes, you get sick because you're getting a taste of that type of flu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
that's how vaccines work. And I'm not anti-vax entirely because, polio, that's been stopped by vaccines. There's a lot of good that vaccines have done. However, this one was just very sus.
And too quick. You know what I'm saying? Like they came up with it like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like let's have some people test it first and see how that goes. And there's a lot of negative outcomes off of that.
Yeah, a lot of people got strokes, got heart attacks, and the way they were saying in the very beginning that young people didn't need it, and then, shortly after it rolled out, young people should get it. It's like, which part is what's true? The truth?
Yeah,
and there's a whole lot there. Just the way they demonized people that were questioning the narrative, like not even completely saying I'm not going to get it. Just people that were asking questions. They demonized doctors that were asking questions. And it was just very clear from the beginning that there was a lot more to COVID and the lockdowns themselves than met the eye.
Absolutely.
Even Anthony Fauci was like, I am the science at one point. I'm pretty sure those words verbatim came out of his mouth.
That guy did not know what the hell he was talking about.
Yeah,
one day he'll say, get the shot. The other day he says, okay, you don't need it.
Oh, yeah, the masks. Oh, my gosh.
That night. And I actually do need them. And it's like, bro, make up your fucking mind.
Making all kinds of excuses for why he said originally, you don't need masks. Then you do need masks. And it turns out the mask didn't really do anything anyway. All kinds of stuff. But like I was saying before, I think it was entirely a test to see who would roll over and do what the government said and who wouldn't. What they're going to do with that information, I do not know yet.
What were you doing when that happened?
I was a valet at a casino.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Were you still working?
No. The casino closed because COVID. I mean, they locked down. There's no way a casino is going to stay open, let alone the valet section. And so lost my job. Ended up doing unemployment and finished school instead of going back to work because I was getting more money than I would get if I had a job.
Bro, a lot of people got comfortable for that
Yeah,
shit.
I did. It was bad. It was not good.
I never got the benefit of getting that money for nothing.
Yeah, I wish that I had done different, but it is what I did, and yeah,
Would have been nice though.
It was nice. It was basically the way I saw it. I was like, this is the last summer vacation I'll ever get as an adult, so I'm going to take advantage of it. And
That's
then,
smart.
and you know, I've been working my ass off ever since I started working again. And but that being said, I kind of wish that I did not do that because I'd be in an even better situation than I am now.
Right. No, I was working on a farm during that era, and it was actually pretty nice because I was the only employee at the time. So like I got to do, you know, I got like stayed distance between my boss and me just because his wife, you know, was going through some like personal health issues. So like, you know, we kept our distance, always wore a mask like around them, or I told him like, hey, I'm not feeling sick or anything. And if I did, I would be like, hey, I'm not gonna come into work because I'm sick. I don't want to get you guys sick. So he would always agree. He always like did the benefit of the best thing that for them and for myself. And no, it was great. Like worked on a farm, so I worked alone. Still got to keep my job. Still did some stuff. You know, was able to be a little active. And then I go home. But then the crazy thing is like, once you're home, you're home.
Yeah,
like, you couldn't do anything else. Like it was wild. Like it was. I think I think in the cities, like big cities like Sacramento, LA, San Francisco, that's where it got like nasty. Because where I was living, it was like a small little town, and like, you know, you were still able to go to Winco and stuff. There was a couple people like kind of grocery shopping, like nothing was going on. Some had masks, some didn't give a shit. They like took them off, you know. And then I'll be walking around like grocery shopping.
this is in
stuff.
NorCal, right?
Yeah, this is NorCal. But the crazy thing about it is, I don't understand why people went ballistic and like getting all this food and all these supplies. Like, why couldn't they just get what they needed? You know, once they ran out, go back and grab what they needed again. Like, I don't understand why they.
I have an answer for you, because NorCal has a higher concentration of preppers than the rest of California. NorCal is a bit more conservative, like especially as you come east from the Bay. Yeah, NorCal and that area, you're going to have a bit more conservative values.
I can see that.
And so a lot more of those people were questioning the narrative. They were like, this is some BS. This is indicative of something different than what they're actually saying in the media. And that's one thing that I actually really appreciate COVID for, is that it either showed everyone else who the sheep were and who was just not paying attention and just listening to Big Daddy government. And it really opened the eyes of some people that prior to COVID were just listening to Big Daddy government. So it either cemented you into the position of a sheep, or it opened your eyes and you were like asking a lot more questions. And I mean, how many things that were conspiracy theories before are just confirmed facts now?
Oh, yeah. A lot of shit started coming out.
Conspiracy theories are rolling nat 20s every day. That's a D&D reference for those that don't know. Super nerdy. Anyway, that was one thing I did during COVID, is played a lot of D&D. And before COVID, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, I've played like 900 hours of D&D.
Jesus Christ, really?
I had one campaign that went a little over a year, another campaign that went like 9 months, and then another campaign, because we did like 2 campaigns at a time once, and that one also went like 9 months. And we were meeting once a week for like 4 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
D&D is super fun.
See, I've never played it, but I feel like if I were to get into it, I would love it.
Yeah, most people do. If you get into it and your group is consistent about meeting, that's the hardest part, is having a group that's very consistent. Those that play D&D know. I got very lucky. My DM, the dungeon master, the guy that like, he's essentially God. And when you want to do something, you're like, hey, I want my character to do this. And he's like, all right, well, roll this die to check for that or whatever. Or he just tells you how it plays out, essentially. But yeah, the DM, my DM was an English major. And he wants to write novels and stuff like that. And he's a very good writer and wrote a lot of he did a lot of world building and was really into it, had all kinds of miniatures to make it be more immersive. And yeah, it was really fun.
That's crazy. I never thought that was like a real thing.
Role playing is actually enjoyable. Not that kind of role play. Gave me a little eyebrow raise there. Save that for later, Carlos.
Lee Mac, why do you have leather straps?
Assless chaps.
DM told me.
DM.
It looks cool, and I always hear people. There's like a person at work that plays it, and like she's like super like about it, and then like she like dresses up too and whatnot.
Yeah,
when everyone gets together, of course.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, I'm not really like I don't know how to play, but I think it would be an awesome thing to go to one of those like medieval
Renaissance fair.
Oh my god, I've been dying to go to one of those.
I've never been to one. It'd probably be pretty fun.
I think it'd be fun. Like, I saw role models, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Role models?
The movie Role Model?
I don't think I've seen it.
With what's that guy's name?
Is it just me, or are these mics making noise? I feel like my mic is.
I feel like.
Do you hear it?
Yeah, well, like feedback.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll figure that out later.
It got really quiet though.
It did. Nope.
No, I think it's.
Oh, whoops. Just muted us. Interesting. Oh, nope. I don't know what's going on. It sounds weird though. It sounds
I think it's like. It could be like feedback, energy. I don't know.
Huh.
I hope that's not a big deal.
Probably not. It's probably fine. But yeah. Anyways,
I think it'd be cool, but we got like way off the spectrum again.
We did.
But it's all right though. Like, that's what this podcast is about. We take all types of men.
But yeah, that's true. We do. We
take high class men. We take lost men.
Yep.
It sounds really.
It sounds terrible.
Like all types of men. No.
No standards.
No, everyone's welcome. Honestly, dead ass. Like, we all start somewhere. We all have a nerd in us. Like, I know.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge nerd. I mean, I didn't start working out until after, like, the end of COVID. For me, was February 2021. And that was when I started getting into the gym, playing a lot, like almost no video games. I'd never play video games anymore. I played once like last week, I played once for an hour-ish. And that was the first time I'd played video games in like 6 months almost.
Damn.
Yeah. I haven't played video games in a long time.
I stopped playing video games for a long time. Like, I remember in high school, I used to play a lot. A little bit after, I used to play a lot too. And then it got to a point where I just kind of like took a big old pause of like gaming at all. Like, I still have the old ass Xbox, like the Xbox One, and everyone had like this PS5, the new Xbox and whatnot. PCs, like, I was like, what? Like, PCs are a thing now? Like, I know they've always been a thing, but like now they're like super popular. Like, everyone has one, and
it's the best way to game, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I've heard all the time. Like, they have better like graphics, better like processing, like graphics, all that stuff. But like, I barely know shit about it because I haven't played, or I haven't even worked on a computer in a long time. Last time I had worked on a computer was when I was like in high school, and I was actually pretty good at it. I was like, oh, I know how to do this, little things here and there. But if you don't use it, you lose it.
It helps keep your mind sharp, honestly.
Yes, it does.
Working on a computer, building a PC, because I built my PC like 6 years ago, I want to say. Spent more money than I probably should have. But and that was another reason that I took the COVID break, is I just played COD. Like, there was a few weeks where, not necessarily a few weeks in a row, but a few separate weeks where Monday through Friday, at least Monday through Friday, even Saturday through Sunday, I would just I'd wake up, I'd play COD, and I'd go to bed. And I would like take eating breaks and bathroom breaks and stuff like that, and shower, and I, took care of myself still, but didn't exercise, just played COD all day. I was on the Damascus grind, dude. I got Damascus on all my guns, which was cool. It was fun. Ignored my girlfriend a little bit.
Yeah, I was single as a prequel. Like, I was just, oh man, it's such
that destroyed my relationship. By the way, don't do that. Don't ignore your girlfriend.
I destroyed myself. Like, I literally, this would be my daily COVID weekend life, Friday through Sunday. Get home from work on Friday. My buddy already had like beer or like it was either like a 24 pack or like a 36 rack cheap Natty Lights.
Oh goodness!
And we fucking crushed those things.
I wasn't really drinking all that much.
So I was, unfortunately. I really wish I didn't. But like all you had to do is drink, get a good buzz, play some COD with your boys, and like my best friend was literally my roommate. Well, both of my best friends, like from back home and everything. Like the cool thing about it is that one of them was a property manager, so rent was like $500 a month.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, that's not bad.
You have the luxury of having the biggest apartment in his apartment complex. So we paid him like monthly, which was like $500, and that was including everything. So it was super cheap because he didn't pay rent, but he was making money off of us. Yeah. Super successful guy. Really proud of him. But he would like drink with us. We'd have like little concerts in the living room. Like it was like the best time of our lives, as in like you literally hanging out with the boys.
Yeah, I mean that's all you could do.
Like literally,
there was nothing else you could do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it was my buddy Joey, my buddy Jared, and me. And then there'll be times where we like sit outside our doors because our rooms were like one door was here, one door was here, and then one door was over here. So it was like a triangle type like shape thing.
Yeah.
And then we all sit outside of our like doors and like having a drink or like just talking about random stuff or like what do you think is gonna happen? Like you think this is gonna change everything? Like, you feel like this is gonna be like a norm. And then it was for a while, like at least a year or two later.
I don't think the country is the same at all since that. Like we had the BLM riots, I guess they call it the Summer of Love. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that has changed since COVID. And some of it, I don't know, it's just really interesting that politics is a lot more prevalent in culture now. Like politics is part of culture, whereas before it was not as in your face. There was not as much emphasis on politics. Or at least maybe that's just my perspective because I got more into politics because of COVID, and then it stayed that way for me. I listen to a Timcast, his podcast. That's a really good one every day. Just like, because he's got a very balanced viewpoint, I would say. Like his podcast itself, he's like libertarian, kind of conservative, while also holding some like traditional liberal values. Because liberals today are very different than traditional liberals.
Oh yeah.
But he's got a lot of different guests, a lot of different perspectives, like some hardcore Catholics, some Jewish guys, he's got a lot of different religions. He's had a few leftists on too. Like he's a pretty good balanced podcast itself, and they do a good job of reporting the news and what's happening. So I listen to that one pretty regularly just to stay up to date on like what's been happening in the media, the news, politics, all of that. Just to stay informed on what's going on. It helps to, make better decisions as far as like whether you're investing in something or what you should know about in the coming future and all of those different types of things. And that's kind of where I got the idea of AI and deep fakes being used to say that the president holds this belief, and it's going to be a lot more subtle than people think. And I think because the media is already bought out by the government, it's going to be a lot of the government signing off on things that are probably deep fakes. But it's also going to get to the point where no one can trust anything that comes out of the media because you don't know if it's a deep fake or not. So it's going to take a lot longer for people to verify. And this is, again, something I heard from this podcast, is it's going to be almost like a reversion back to before the internet, where, because right now someone posts something on Twitter about something that happened in Venice, Italy, and you know about it immediately, even though you're nowhere near Venice, Italy. You didn't see it happen, but deepfake technology isn't as good as it will be in just a year from now. Because I mean, how good has ChatGPT got? How good?
Way too good.
How good has all of those different voice changers and voice
AI.
mimic AI's gotten?
Like songs and all that stuff.
Yeah, like the videos of Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and Obama playing video games together. Hilarious. I love those videos, but it's crazy how realistic they sound because it's pretty believable.
You can manipulate a lot of people like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's going to fool a lot of people. And then I think it is going to get to the point where no one no one trusts anything that's coming out of the media.
You know what I think it's going to happen? I feel like there's going to be another, this is just like things that I think about sometimes throughout the day when I'm just like, you know, I always tell you, like, I kind of sit down, kind of like have a cup of coffee in the morning and just let my thoughts be processed. Because I'm always fucking thinking, and it's crazy, but
yeah. Same.
There's times where I'm like, what if they use this AI shit and another pandemic or like another type of COVID shit happens where they have to lock everyone in again. So everyone's in their homes watching, you know, either on TikTok, on any social media website, on the news or TV, and they use the AI to manipulate people now.
Yeah.
They don't even need a president anymore.
No.
Like it gets to the point where, like, okay, you're locked in your house. There's another pandemic, so you got to be scared.
Yep.
There's a shortage on water, food, and all this other bullshit. So now you're definitely controlled.
Yep.
And then your president is on the TV, which is AI modified. So we're definitely blindfolded here.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to pull the wool over everyone's eyes, and we just need to not let that happen. And that's another point of this podcast, is to just make sure people are thinking for themselves.
Yeah.
Bring back critical thinking. Critical thinking. Bring back critical thinking.
And anticipate a lot of things.
Yeah, just not trying to make everyone paranoid or scared of the future or anything like that, but just don't be ignorant. Don't be caught with your pants down. That's what I'm trying to make sure I don't do. Trying to help other people see that as well. See that there's a lot going on that people in power don't want you to know about. So just educate yourselves. Listen to books. Listen to podcasts. Listen to people that tell you things that you don't want to believe, and consider that they might be right. Consider that possibility, and pray for the best.
Yeah, literally. And then who was it that told me that you have to reflect? I think it was a video I saw. You have to be, I think you said it, actually. You have to be a shitty person to be able to reflect, or someone said that? I saw that somewhere, I know. Oh, one of my coworkers said that. Sorry.
Okay. I was like,
that wasn't you. But, like, same mindset, though. Really
I don't think I would
guy.
tell someone to be a shitty person.
No. Like, what he was trying to say is, like, you know, throughout your life, you make dumb mistakes.
Oh.
You become sometimes some people become, you know, pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Excuse my language, but, like, you become like an asshole sometimes.
Yeah.
And you have to go through those phases. That way, you know, you can reflect, and you have to reflect. You can't just be that bad person or, like, make those mistakes within your life. You will, like, you know, during an era, and then just kind of be like, oh, yeah, all right, whatever. And then you kind of continue your life. You have to sit back, reflect, and, like, mature that way. That's how you grow.
Yes.
In order to grow, you have to go through some shitty moments, through some shitty eras, so you can fertilize your new outcome in life, you know, your mind. So I feel like a lot of times, lost it.
To phrase that differently, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
You have to fail to learn.
Yes.
To eventually succeed. Yes. And what your friend was saying is actually a play on the idea of the most devout of saints were once the greatest of sinners.
Exactly.
John the Baptist was executing Christians before he became John the Baptist. So, don't be scared to make failures, but also be willing to accept that you messed up if you messed up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be willing to change. Keep your mind open. Don't doubt yourself all the time in terms of, like, taking action and what you should be doing. Like, take action and take responsibility for your actions, take accountability for your actions, but also be open to the idea that maybe that action wasn't the best one.
Absolutely. And like what I'm trying to get to also is, like, kind of take time to reflect with your own thoughts. And, like he said, like, think for yourself. Like,
absolutely.
Get off, like, social media for a while.
Yeah.
And think about what's really going on in the world. Because a lot of times people they're so easy to get, like, 30 seconds trapped into, like, this. The
TikTok scrolling.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. And then, like, all this information is kind of going through your head. Doesn't really get absorbed, but it gets, like, it sticks for a moment. And then you're like, okay, whatever. And and then like you just kind of like like a lot of things like 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 what is one of the things that happened that everyone was like so included about? Like it happens all the time. It's like
there's always something new in the news that's huge.
Like derailing of this, and people
the train derailment.
You gotta help.
I haven't heard anything about that in so long.
Exactly, or
that lasted for a month, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of things last like that, and then I feel like that's the thing that's going on nowadays because like everyone sees it so easily or sees it so much that like no one takes time to actually sit back and think about like how this impacts their own life and their own world.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah. How about want to wrap it up there? We were going to go for like 45 minutes, and it's been about an hour almost.
It flowed so nicely.
Yes, it did. Even though we got onto none of the topics that we planned on touching, but we got on some pretty good topics, and we ended off with some pretty solid wisdom there at the end. Yeah. I think we might turn that into a TikTok clip. I don't know.
I think
It'd be a good one.
I think so.
Be a good one. All right. Well. Oh, I turned it all the way down.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you. All right. Deuces.
Later.